And we're live with Manny Garavito.
Hold on. Good morning, everybody. This is Manny Garavito. Welcome to another episode of Mornings with Manny. Today, I'm joined with a very good friend of mine that actually has been a part of a chapter in my comedy life, Mr. Adam Sosnick. Adam runs a show called Make That Money, which is specifically for the millennials on how to be successful in finance. Adam, what have you learned?
What an intro and what an open-ended question. What have I learned? Holy shit. Where do I get started? I've learned that you got to save that money. And we can get into the deeper parts of what that means, but I work in the wealth world. And what I do is I break down money into a language that we could all kind of understand. So that's what I do. And the cornerstone of that is save that money. And then once you can save, we can go from there.
So recently I just got on that save that money train. I know I'm a bit late.
Congratulations.
However, what's the difference between how the baby boomers are doing, how it's ending, and how the millennials are going and how it started? Do you know what I mean? Because I know that money is kind of like going through this situation where a lot of baby boomers are retiring and now the millennials are picking it up and running. What do you see that's going on? What are the trends?
So I wish I had a coin on me. I'm sure I could find one. But basically in America today, flip a coin whether you're going to retire at age 65 with money or be broke. Flip a coin. It's 50-50. So I want it to be on the tails never fails, I got money, I'm good to go side of the coin. The reality is for baby boomers and for millennials, flip a coin. There's about 70 to 80 million per generation, largest generations in US history, and flip a coin of where you're gonna end up. My mom, for instance, she's on the broke side. So was my dad, he passed away. Broke. They didn't make a lot of money, they didn't save, they didn't understand how finance worked. Thank God they got a son in their life that's kind of got his shit together. But I mean, I'm not political. I don't say I don't care if you're red. I don't care if you're blue. I focus on the green. One quote from our friend Bernie Sanders, he would say, "Do you understand in this country that half of all baby boomers are retiring with no money, zero in the bank?" And that's the fucking truth of it. So flip a coin. And the difference between the great thing in America and capitalism is that it's not just flip a coin. You could do something about it to end on the right side of the coin. And if you don't figure it out, and if you don't make moves and make shit happen and do it the right way, you will end up on the wrong side of the coin. And then you're in what I call the government's payroll. And now you're relying on that government check, maybe. And that's just not where you want to be, especially in a country like this.
Yeah. Security is one of the best feelings that you can get. And it's a lifetime game. It's not short end, it's long term. And I think one of the misconceptions that a lot of people have when it comes to money is that you've got to focus, you got to be like somewhat of a futurist in order to be successful with money. You got to look at yourself like 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the line, and you have to invent whoever that person is starting right now financially. So what are some options to make that possible, to start making that person?
Dude, that's a great question. You framed it very well. Wealth is not a short-term game. So you can get rich quick, but you can't build wealth quick. Wealth is a long-term game. And one of the things that I talk about, or the major thing that I talk about, is the Sos Six, which is the 6 principles of wealth.
I love it.
And, I'm not sure if you've heard this. So in this strategy, I walk people through these 6 principles. And unfortunately, most Americans are 1 out of 6 or 2 out of 6. And when you can get to 6 out of 6, that's really wealth, health, wealth, and happiness. It's not just money, 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 money. It's understanding the big picture of what having wealth and financial freedom can do for you and your family. And that's not a get rich quick thing. That's a long-term, lifetime vision that takes 5, 10, 20 years to figure out. That there's a reason why people that are broke all their life and they win the lottery, 3 years later, they're back to being broke because they don't understand how money works. So it's a long-term strategy. It's long-term thinking. And the reality is, here's the best answer, is that in America today, you can live to 80, 90, 100, no problem. So if this isn't the America in the 1860s where it's like the Wild West and you get shot in a gunfight and you're dead at 32. All right, sorry, buddy. Like, you're not retiring like, in the 1950s where life expectancy was 65 in this country. And that's why your Social Security and your pension kicks in at 62. So you got 3 years of a rocking chair on the side of a beach somewhere before you die. These days, people are collecting Social Security to 65, 75, 85. My grandma's turning fucking 88 today, and she's doing great. We're going partying. So she'll hopefully make it to 90 and 100. So that's the reality in America today.
Well, what are the Sos Six? What are the options?
So no options. There's just 6 timeless principles that every American can tap into and get great at. So I'll walk you through them. And what I basically say is you don't need to read 50 different books and take 100 different classes. Like, be great at these 6 things every month of your life. And it all starts with what's your chilling. Like, what is chilling to you? If you were free as fuck and had money good to go, what would you do with your free time? What I call chilling. And that's when you own your time. So that's actually the 6th principle. So we'll get back to that. So to get to your chilling, principle number 1 is you got to have a game plan. And a budget is a game plan for your money. So every month you need to do a budget. And I'm not a fan of a penny pinching down to the millimeter budget. I'm a fan of what is called a big budget. You should focus on your big 3 expenses, which is your housing, your transportation, and your food and beverage. If you can get those things in order with your budget, then you're 75% of the way there. And then from there, you can kind of cut minor expenses, because one of the things I say is I'm not worried about your Netflix. I'm worried about your net worth. And like that, there he goes. There he goes. He's off the Richter scale right now.
That's good, man.
So basically, it starts with the budget. And then I say, and you got to do that every month. And there's a reason why 75% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck and 75% of Americans don't do a monthly budget. There's a correlation there. So do a monthly budget. That's number 1. Number 2, before you can win the money game, don't lose. And what's losing is debt. And understanding that debt is losing the interest rate game. So whether you're losing 4%, 8%, 10%, 20%, like, how bad are you losing? Understand that that's your money going backwards. Reverse compound interest. So then when you can kind of get a grasp of that, you can start winning. And what's winning? Well, save that money, baby. Like, start to save. And what I recommend for most Americans, if you can get to doing a budget every month, becoming debt-free or mostly debt-free. I get that student loans is a problem that's going to take a while, but that's hopefully low interest. But certainly credit card debt and car loans and cash advances, get that shit out of your life. And you can save $10,000. You can then be what I call an investor. And principle number 4 is invest. And either investing in the stock market, which I'm a huge fan of, or real estate. And, understanding that that's a whole niche within itself. And for me, I invest in the stock market and I rent, but I make a point to understand investing because I'm not building equity in my house. I love renting, but I understand the investment game. And that's really the big money stuff. And then from there, it's all about protecting yourself. And you are your greatest asset. You, not your house, not your car, not your business. It's you and your ability to wake up every day and get to work. And that is what I call principle number 5 is insurance. And if you can do all those money things and do it the right way, now we're back to principle number 6, which is chilling. And chilling is when you own your time. And I ask people, like Manny, I'll ask you, and then I'll tell you what everyone, I ask everyone this question. I say, if you were chilling, Manny Garavito, you had millions in the bank, what would you do with your free time?
I would definitely be a mobile entrepreneur, like in different hotels, working on the Wi-Fi for like an hour a day, and then enjoying the other 23 hours on my own leisure.
Okay, so you would travel, but still work and stay busy and do your thing.
Yeah.
And all right, so when you're traveling and you're in and out of hotels, what else do you want to be doing with your life? Because that's 1 hour a day.
Well, what I'm working on would be just different projects. I kind of have this, I feel good every time I start something new that's valuable on the internet, like a new project and then another one and another one. It could be a detriment and it could be a gift at the same time, because I'm full of ideas, but also my time is very limited and I can only focus on a few
Time
things.
is your most precious commodity, my friend.
Exactly.
All right, give me one more thing you would do if you were chilling.
If I was chilling, I would definitely just, I would definitely work on me, like on more education and probably get a lot more fit.
All right, so you'd be looking good. So I'm glad that you answered that. And I'll tell you what I ask everybody chilling, and everybody says the same 3 or 4 responses. They would say they want to travel, they want to see the world and get out there, right? They want to work on something they're passionate about. That's number 2, which for you is, different ideas. You're passionate about those things. You would essentially do it for free. If you had millions in the bank, you would craft ideas.
Good point. You're right.
And then the third one is that you want to give back and you want to donate your time to things you care about, whether it's your community or the comedy scene or helping handicapped people or volunteering or whatever it is. People want to have that element of giving back. So it's not just, I want to retire and do nothing. You want to do something with your life, and that the big something is what's called a legacy. And that's the big thing with being chilling and owning your time, is that, one day, what are you, 30, 32? How old are you?
34.
34. You look fucking not a day over 30, bro.
Thanks.
One day Manny Garavito is going to be freaking 80 years old, real talk. And he's going to have kids and grandkids, and he's going to be gray as fuck, and he's going to still be kind of funny and quirky. And he's going to hopefully have, money in the bank, and he's going to have a legacy. And that's what you're doing. For your first, question, thinking long-term, is that knowing in America today, you can have a long, healthy, wealthy, happy life. And money and wealth is a big part of that. And, but this chillin' is the new retirement. And I walk people through these 6 principles, and I spend a lot of time on the chillin' aspect and the budget aspect. Because all the other stuff, the debt management, the saving, the investing, the insurance, those are numbers. Those are minor stuff. Having a game plan to get to chillin' is number 1 and number 6. And that's what I tell people to focus on.
That is, I gotta admit, man, I was writing down the Sos Six, and this is a solid mental model for building your wealth. It's very comprehensive. It's very simple, which is important. And I can see why the millennials is your target market, because it's straight to the point. I read a book called Your Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. I just finished reading it over the weekend.
Okay.
And I just recently got into the market, because I know the market is now on sale, as they say.
Yes,
Put a good chunk of my savings in there and started playing with it and putting things that I think would be valuable over the long term. Not going to make this a talk about, what to invest in or whatever, but there is a simple path to wealth that this guy describes in his book that says Vanguard. Vanguard is the way to go. It's low risk. It gets the top players and puts it all together with the lowest fees. So this is the game plan. If you have nothing, you start saving up on VTI, the Vanguard ETF. You save up $10,000. You then change it over to Vanguard Admiral. Yeah, Vanguard Admiral. That's $10,000 there. You let that ride, and then you start going into a Roth IRA. And then once you reach a certain tax bracket, you go into a deductible IRA. and then anything else just go into insurance. Does that sound like a sound plan?
Dude, that's awesome. Like if you could do that, just that, that's my investing, principle number 4. I mean, that's what I've done. So I'm not like, oh my God, that sounds great. Like I've done it. I put the money into the S&P index funds, like a Vanguard fund, in my Roth IRA. I max out my 401k. I do just the simple stuff. And the most important thing is not what's the IRR or what's the cost index, is just doing it every year and putting X amount of thousand in every year and letting time and compound interest work for you. So everything that guy said sounded correct. Zero pushback on that. Sounds great.
I think that's what holds a lot of people back, man. When it comes to savings, it kind of gets caught up with like financial advisors and people trying to sell you premiums and stuff. And it kind of gets like convoluted into this thing. Like this must be really hard to do. When in reality, it's really just a habit of just putting away money on a sound account and letting that shit ride as long as it can. That's pretty much all there is to it,
there's a little more to it, but not much more.
Well, I mean, that's what I figured so far. That's one of the things that deters a lot of people from saving, the fact that you got to put it somewhere and forget about it.
I mean, the beauty of the putting the money away and, saving to invest and putting it in a Vanguard account or a S&P 500 index fund or a Roth IRA is that you listening at home, you have to understand that's your money. You can see it. You can look at it. You can touch it. You can see your wealth. It's part of your net worth. You're paying yourself. You're not spending it or, oh, it's gone. I don't know what to do. It's fucking right there in your account. So I can pull out my 401k today and see that, oh shit, I got 250 grand in my 401k because I started in 2008 and I've just put in every freaking year. And the market's gone like that. Now it's gone like this, but it'll go like that again. So it's saving, it's investing, it's understanding net worth. It's everything that I told you in those 6 principles of wealth. It's not 100 different things. I know so many people. The financial world is very fragmented, like you mentioned. The investing stuff and the insurance stuff is over here, and well, then you got your credit card companies and your debt consolidation companies, and they're not working together. And you got your bank, and then you got your Bitcoin account. Like it's all like this. But if you can kind of look at it that like you're in the middle, and you have all these little kind of tentacles, just like, all right, those are the things I need to focus on. But just looking inward and focusing on where you want to be, and not getting caught up in Wall Street, the stock market, crypto. Oh my God, like it's so much. So it's understanding that it can be simple and not as complicated as the investment Wall Street world makes it out to be.
Yeah, it's an inner game. And just to close it off with the last 5 minutes of the show, Adam, I know you must be a busy man doing your thing, but give us some some inner game. What's some psychology that people gotta like really master in order to master their money?
Man, some inner game. We run some game on these kids, man. I mean, I'm not some great philosopher and let me pontificate on the I know what's worked for me, and I just tell people what's worked for me. And so what's worked for me, I love networking, and not in the conventional sense like I'm going to a business meeting and I'm networking today. Like I genuinely love being in a room of people and be like, yo, what up, bro? How are you? Yeah, what's up with you? Like, how are you, sweetheart? Like genuinely care about that kind of stuff.
Of course.
And actually care about people. Like if you want to read a good book, read How to Win Friends and Influence People. And actually caring about what the other person, hey, how you doing? Cool, great. Like that's number 1. Number 2, unless you're going to become a doctor, big time attorney or a big time, architect or whatever, you got to understand 5 letters. SALES, sales. I almost misspelled it. That would have been a disaster. But learn how to sell. Learn how to sell. And one of the, I've part B to that is that I used to be a jack of all trades. I did stand-up comedy back in the day, and I was a substitute teacher, and I was a nightlife guy, and I worked in real estate, and I was just like a jack of all trades. But I became good at one thing. I became a specialist. You know, I started off making a cold call as a cold caller for a financial firm, but I became great at sales, and now I'm the VP of sales. And for sales, it's kind of going back to my first thing. It's selling. They used to say is selling is telling. Telling the person, hey, here's what you need. This is what you got to get. Selling is not telling. Selling is asking questions. Hey, Manny, how are you today? Okay, I noticed you got a speaker in the back. What kind of speaker is that? Oh, da-da-da-da. Well, are you interested in a better speaker? Well, yeah, I kind of am. Well, I got a better speaker. Like, asking questions is how you sell now. And so networking, understanding sales to increase your income, investing your time, not spending your time. Like every day I'm like, I've done so many years of my life, dude, where I was in 3 fantasy football leagues and I was just partying every weekend and you know, spending a lot of time. And now like my number one priority is investing time. Is this the best use of my time? Am I enjoying my time? Like, and that can still be hanging out with friends. Cause like, oh man, I'm happy I'm doing this. Hanging with my friends, this means a lot to me. I'm investing my time, but understand that you have 24 hours in a day. Everyone sleeps 8 hours. So, you know, you spend 1/3 of your life sleeping, 1/3 of your life, you know, working. What do you do with that other third? A lot of Americans just spend that time. They go to the movies, they sit at home, they eat. So to be great, you got to use those extra 8 hours and use 5 of them to get better at something. You can still chill and do whatever, but understanding that investing your time and not spending your time. And then the last piece of the puzzle is just save that money. And
There you go.
you're going to need it.
Adam, I gotta admit, man, you know, from this conversation, I learned a lot, and I'm not being facetious at all. Your way of thinking and the things you said that you just said on a whim is actually gems hitting in the conversation. So thanks a lot for your time, Adam. Let the people know where they can find you and your work, as well as the YouTube channel you're working on.
Yeah, you can find me at Sos Talks Money. So SOS Talks Money. That's my name, Sos, Adam Sosnick, Sos Talks Money. I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, mostly Instagram, but I got a lot of stuff in the grease that hopefully will be pretty big this upcoming year. Some big things, we're knocking on wood, but people need financial advice and common sense, you know, one-on-one type of advice more than ever now, and that's just basically what we do here.
All right, thanks again, Adam. We'll talk again soon, okay?
All right, buddy. You be good, Manny. Hey, when's the next comedy show? Whatever. When's it going to be?
We're on quarantine.
Got to do something live, man.
Yeah, I do the live comedy on Instagram every day at 3 and 10:30. You've been on some.
Yeah, I've been a little bit. If you want to bring me in, we can do something with that. So.
All right, deal. Yeah, jump on. We'll get you on there.
I'm actually going to be on the news today at 11:30 on NBC. So check it out.
All right. Yeah, send me the deets. I'll check it out.
All right, you'll have a copy of this?
Yeah, I'm gonna post it. I'll tag you on it.
On where's this all going on?
We're gonna put it on MiamiNetworking.com, and we're gonna put it on IGTV and as well as YouTube.
Oh yeah, send me some links. I'll take a look at it later. It was good stuff. You're a good interviewer, buddy.
Bro, you know what you're talking about. Thanks again for your time, Adam.
Sure, bro. Be good, Manny.
See you. All right, guys, that was my good friend Adam Sosnick. Very, very knowledgeable in what he does, an absolute natural when it comes to saving money. Check out his show on YouTube called Save That Money, where he actually goes out and interviews millennials and asks them what they think about money. Some of the things that I'd like to add on this in terms of what I've learned over the years about how to save money and how to use money is that money is an inside game. You know, there's a lot of psychology involved, like discipline and looking out into the future and figuring out what your needs and wants are. You know, one major flaw about psychology when it comes to money, in my opinion, is the difference between sufficing and maximizing. So sufficing is when, for example, if you buy a toothbrush, and maximizing is when you get the latest bamboo handle with the firm rubber grip and the massaging bristles. So you've got to find like the just right amount that gives you the satisfaction and the results you need without you going overboard. Every time you make a purchase and there's something that goes overboard, that's kind of like a cost that shouldn't be within your budget. Also, another thing to consider when it comes to money, in my opinion, is also realizing that you've got to look out into the future and you've got to invest on whoever you're about to be. It doesn't have to be absolute because, of course, we all change over time. However, if you think that you're going to be living up to your 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 100, maybe even plus, as Adam said, you know, the healthcare has allowed us to live a lot longer than how we used to before as humans. So if you start investing now, you would want to have that person that you're about to become in the future covered one way or another. One good way that I do that is I just put money into something that's simple, like we mentioned the Vanguard account, and then just letting it ride and forgetting about it, you know, getting into the IRA, getting into the Roth. I'm not much of a financial guy, but we all have to be one way or another to protect our future self. Lastly, since I do online marketing as well as online business, is you always have to find the two most important functions to make money, and that is marketing and building a product. So Peter Drucker said there's two main functions, innovation, which is product building, and marketing. Everything else in a business is a cost. And ever since I applied that dogma into my way of doing business online, it has changed the entire game for me. Adam also mentioned invest your time, not spend your time. So if we were to match those two sayings, that the two most important things is product building and marketing, and you want to invest your time, do it on those two most important functions because those are the ones that'll get you the money, okay? And getting money really is about caring about someone, allowing someone to reach their desired result or helping them avoid the pain or the kind of like situation that they don't want to be in. So that's how you make money. You have to offer something and be caring about someone and getting their results through your product or service. And once you start fine tuning your business to do just that, you'll start realizing that you discovered something that not a lot of people are in, or if you're in a mass market, you're just doing it better than others. So always focus on those two things: communicating, the marketing, and building the products or services that people out there are urgently seeking to find and that are willing to pay money. And you're helping them by the sale. Was also another thing that, see, this is why I love the interview with Adam today. He just touched on so many important points. Sales is also such an important skill to learn because a lot of people are afraid to get into sales because they're worried about rejection. They're worried that someone will push back and think that, you know, something is unsolicited or that there's certain ways of selling that's slimy, which is true. There's some solicitors out there and there are some slimy salesmen. However, if you change the value of what you see as a salesperson and turn that into someone that is going out there and actively helping someone find a solution based on the product or service that you offer, you can actually be a lot more successful and a lot more effective selling because you're kind of going away from I'm trying to make money to I'm trying to offer you something that you are looking for or that you didn't even know you needed. Okay. That's what a professional salesperson does. They match the wants and needs of people to what they're offering, and they offer complete satisfaction within it. Okay. They're bridging the gap. If you guys want to look more into it, check out last episode of Mornings with Manny, where we talked about how you can match up the products and services that you offer with the needs and wants of your customers. All right, guys, this has been another Monday morning with us. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to do this again next Monday, 10:30 a.m. Visit miaminetworking.com. And also a quick announcement, May 24th, 2020, we're going to be doing our first virtual online networking event called Meet the Makers of Miami. This is going to be the kind of virtual event where we're going to meet the kinds of folks that want to make a difference here locally in the city that we live in. And we're going to be talking about our strengths, our weaknesses, the kind of tribes we can be involved in, the networks, the groups, the social circles that we can be involved with in order to enhance our strengths and cover our blind spots. I'll see you guys then. Have a great week. Bye. Thank you for watching this video from MiamiNetworking.com. If you did enjoy this video, do give us a like, leave us a comment, and subscribe to our channel. Also, if you're seeking to make a connection with the people in Miami that want to make a difference, visit MiamiNetworking.com and start your free profile today.